Hello everybody, thank you for attending this session about budget management and Odoo accounting for the public sector, mainly in Luxembourg, but we'll see that this will apply also to other countries. So maybe let's present ourselves.
My name is Suhail Bijawi, technical lead at Acsone since 8 years now, and I was part of this amazing project.
And I am Jean-Christophe Castio, the CEO of Acsone. So, as usual, you have this QR code that you can scan in order to ask questions. Don't hesitate. We will repeat the QR code during the presentation, so if you missed it, no problem, okay? So, this talk is about a success story that we achieved for the Chamber of Deputies of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. So, Chamber of Deputies, everybody knows, it's the legislative power of the state, but it is also a public entity like any other public entities, and therefore they have to apply public management rules, and mainly also for the finance part of the institution, they have to follow specific rules. So, what is specific for the public sector when we talk about accounting? It's actually a mix between general accounting, so they have now in Europe they have to do general accounting such as every company will do, but also budgetary accounting, and we will go more into detail afterward. Also they have very formal processes, so like in corporate companies actually everything must be validated. There are security rules, so depending on your function and your position in the organization, you will be allowed to take part to some process or not. Of course, we have to ensure perfect traceability, so everything that is done on the finance part must be traced, and they have capped budget. So it means that most of the budget lines are capped during the year, so you cannot exceed the allocated budget. And finally, something very special in the public sector, we talk about multi-year commitments. It means that when you, for example, when you have you purchase an IT project that will last for 4 years, you have to ask for the whole budget on year one, even if you don't pay the whole budget on year one. So this is something very specific to the public sector. So the budget life cycle is rather simple. So we have 3 phases. On year -1, you will have the preparation of the budget. So you have top-down directive, of course, which will say to the directors, okay, we have to lower the budget or we have enough money. And thereafter, it is a bottom-up process where each director will submit the budget that he needs for each budget lines. This will be discussed with the financial department and consolidated into a draft budget. This budget will be submitted to the vote of the assembly, and when the budget is voted, it can go into execution. And the execution, of course, there we need to follow closely the budget in order to be sure that during the year we don't exceed the budget that was voted. And this is done, we will see, via commitments. Commitments are authorization to spend money for a specific purpose on a specific budget article. Of course, we will manage the invoice payment, and there are some events, so budget reallocation, for example, that occur during the year. And at the end of the year, the administration must do a classical closing, so as another company, but also the closing of the budget. This means closing all open commitments that won't be carry over the next year, carry over the other, and make the final statement. But Suhail will jump into more details on how we have done this in Odoo.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe, for the theoretical part. Now, how we achieved this, let's start with the data structure. we start, this is the workflow for budget management, and let's start with basic elements, budget article and budget exercise. The budget article is defines the structure of our budget, like type of expense, and the budget exercise is the period on which a budget applies. Both elements are used to make budget proposal, and it's how much money needed for a budget article in a given exercise, and which it's validated, it becomes a budget item. A budget item, it's the real allocation of a resource, and if needed, funds can be moved between budget items via transfers. And when the execution starts, if someone need to reserve part of the budget for a future expense, it comes the request, the commitment request, and when it's validated, it creates the commitment. It's a kind of authorization to spend budget on a given article for the defined period. And if we need to increase, decrease this commitment, we go through adjustment. And when expenses arrives, the system control those expenses, for example, for vendor bill, using the commitment, so it makes sure we don't overspend. And now let's see how it's done in Odoo. This is the main application for the budget. And now let's let's start with creating a new budget account. I will create a new one and give it a code. Here, purchase some stuff, for example. And okay, because I used an existing one. Okay, and now I am gonna show you the budget exercise. Here I already defined the budget exercises from 2023 to 2027, and my current exercise is 2025. You can see here that an exercise go through different steps. My 2025 budget exercise is already confirmed, and I will here create a new budget item for it. So let's choose my budget account. So purchase, and it's for 2025. Here let's add some details. I need 10,000 for this. And for the purpose of the demonstration, I gave my users all the access read and rules to be able to confirm all the stages. Otherwise, we will need to switch on between users, and this will consume a lot of time. So I will speed up to validate my budget proposal. And I can see here, it created a transaction of initial type, and this is what created really the budget. If I open my budget statement, and here group by account, I can see here, oh, I didn't see it here. But I can see here the 10,000 I already created because I didn't give it a section. But I can see here the initial budget amount, the 10,000 I already created. Now let's see how we create the authorization to spend this money. Say, for example, for my purchase department, I need to purchase some stuff, and here I need to select the budget account. And I can see here I can at maximum allocate 10,000, but for my example I need only 100 euro. As I said, I will speed up the approval process. So now it's posted, and if I go back to my budget statement, I can see here that I have 100 committed, so the available now is 9,900. And this commitment can be used in purchase order, and the system will pass it to the vendor bill. But here, for the example, I will create directly the vendor bill. I here select a vendor, and let's find my yes, and I want to spend the 100 I already allocated. Hi. And here I need to select account. Approve. Up. And now it's approved and posted. Here, if I check my budget statement, I can see here in I can show the real. Yes, it's not here. Okay, so a little extra. Here, the dashboard, when manager can see for each budget exercise how many commitment requests there are, how many budget preparation, and they can access directly to what they need to do. For example, here, commitment to request to approve, I have 16 requests. I can directly see them. So that's it for the demo.
Yes, but Suel, how do you store all these numbers in Odoo? Because you have no place to do it.
Yes, they are not stored. How it works? So behind the scene, we use budget transaction to track balances. So there is no field balance that we update every time. We log every movement. And the system, to get the balance, it's on all the entries. For example, for transfer, commitment, or invoices, it's on all the entries and give you the balance. Why it's better? Like regular accounting, you want to have the full history for an account. So nothing is overwritten. Just to get the balance, to trace back its history to get how it reached. Like that, we make sure that our balances and budget are consistent, relevant, and mostly transparent. And those transactions are the foundation of the reporting and budget control. Here, 5 examples of the reporting we provide. There are more. For example, the initial budget is the planned credit per budget article. The transfer are the adjustment between budget items. The commitments are the authorization request, and expenses are vendor bills mostly, and can be other journal entries, of course. And the balance is the remaining available budget between all of them. So for the validation process, what you saw in, for example, the vendor bill, we use it, Scooby-Doo. It's a tool our team developed. Our colleague Stéphane Bidoul gave a talk about it in Odoo Experience 2018. I advise you to check it if you are interested. The source code is on our GitHub. You can get the link. And why we use Scooby-Doo? Because for complex workflows, it's real difficult to implement every action and transaction on the Odoo model. You can finish with 1,000 lines of code. That is very difficult to maintain, to upgrade for major upgrade between Odoo versions. So how it works, you have a YAML file where you define the states and the transaction between each state and the condition to be able to go from a state to another. If you define this, for example, here you can see my state draft, and to go to the completed state, I need to have the action complete, and the condition is that the user have kind of access right. After defining this YAML file, it's very easy to define, very natural to human to read and understand. You can, for example, I used some tools on internet to convert my YAML file to diagram, as you see here in my screen. And after that, Scooby-Doo will make all this in your Odoo model, like actions, states, and fields that you can use out of the box in the XML view. You just need, for example, here to add the action complete, and you will have the button and all if it's stuff with it. So that's it for the technical part. I let Jean-Christophe explain how this improved our customer daily work.
Thank you, Suel. Not easy to do a demonstration in 10 minutes. Usually we have 2 hours to demonstrate the solution, but what you should know is that this project was a big success at Chambers of Deputies, such a success that now they are really proud to show that they can track their budget. They have fully traceable things. Everybody in the organization works in Odoo. Before there was a lot of different tools to achieve the same functionality actually. And so this was also why they asked us, but this solution, can it be used by other public entities? And they had 4 entities, they called them satellites entities of Chambers of Deputies. Among these, the Court of Account, for example, the Ombudsman, Center for Equality of Treatment, so smaller entities, and they ask us to generalize the solution in order to fit with their specific needs. And so the challenge there was to maintain a large common trunk in order to facilitate the maintenance, because these smaller entities don't have a lot of budget in order to make the solution evolve by themselves, and also allow the mutualization of the future evolution. So we added a lot of parameterization using Scooby-Doo, but also parameter with threshold amounts, different types of access rights, so that now, starting in the 1st of January, the 4 entities will start to use the budget accounting within Odoo too. So this is really a big success for us. And now for the future, of course, what we would like is to propose the solution to other public entities in Luxembourg. Now we have proven successes. We know that we have an efficient approach to share and generalize the solution. And afterward, of course, we want to go to other countries, and not only smaller administration, but also bigger administration, because all European countries at least share the same principles. On the other side, of course, the Chamber of Deputies has additional needs, so we are currently implementing more operational process that lead to accounting moves, so for example HR, expenses, asset management, and so on. So maybe to close this session before we take your questions, what you should understand is that finally public administration share the same requirement for standard accounting as a standard company, but they have these specific processes for budget management. And so on the market you will find some dedicated solutions, but they are expensive and they evolve slower because their market is too small. You cannot compare the market of Odoo with only the market of the public sector of one specific country often. And so for me the best move for public entities is really to build a solution on top of a flexible ERP Of course, our choice was Odoo. I think the best choice, because Odoo is one of the best ERP when you talk about customization, but also when you have to interact with external systems, for example. It is modern, it's really easy to learn, fast, reliable, and it evolves each year, as you have seen. So this is the end of my presentation, of our presentation. Thank you for coming, and maybe we will see if there are some questions. Thank you.
Thank you for the talk. So the first question is, with what version is it developed?
Yes, currently it's developed in version 16, and we have planned to migrate starting in January, so hopefully in version 19, but we have to convince the customer that the newest version is of course the best, yeah.
That was the next question. Are you migrating to version 19?
So this is in discussion with the customer, yeah.
Perfect. And how many users are using the application?
At the Chambers of Deputies, it's about 50 users, and the 4 other entities, a total of 20 users. Yeah.
Thank you. Is this applicable to other countries, inside Europe and outside Europe?
Yes, as I have said, inside Europe, I'm really convinced that it is applicable to other countries. We are already working with the Walloon region, so we know also the way it works in Belgium. It's a bit more complicated than what we showed here, but it's also easier to add functionality on top of this basic solution than to do the opposite. So,
is there a link between budget accounts and regular accounts?
Yes. So the budget accounts are related to general account, but it's a NN relation. So you can have multiple general account related to one budget account and the opposite. And so when you encode an invoice and you choose your commitment, it will find the budget article and propose automatically the general accounts that are related.
This is a long one, so maybe you can read with me. How do you produce the budget documents, the famous documents that the deputies have in their suitcase?
Oh, yes. Actually, we don't generate this document because in Luxembourg, this document is generated basing on all the budget that the public entities will submit to the Inspection Générale des Finances. So it's another application that generates this huge document currently. Yeah.
And is it based on CE or EE?
On CE or Enterprise Edition, yeah.
Okay. And all right, is it available on OCA repo?
Currently not, but we are discussing with the Chamber of Deputies. So the code is mainly AGPL, so we are able to publish it, but we ask, of course, the customer authorization. Yeah.
And what was the previous solution before this Odoo solution?
They had a lot of different solutions, but I think that in Luxembourg it's GESAL, which is a known software, but let's say a bit outdated, and so this was transformed by Odoo. Yeah.
Okay, and last question, is it compatible with analytic accounting?
Yes, actually we didn't touch the analytical accounting, so it means that we can define an analytical plan without any problem, and it will combine with the budget accounting, no problem.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thank you to you.